Welcome back to Hollywood Unmasked, where we dive deep into the hidden history of the things you love. The 1960s gave us some of the most beloved songs in music history. But behind those catchy melodies and memorable hooks lie secrets that might shock you. Today, we're uncovering the 10 darkest secrets behind 60s classic songs. 10. Louie Louie by the Kingsmen. When the Kingsmen released their version of Louie Louie in 1963, nobody expected it to become the center of a moral panic that reached the FBI. The song's slurred vocals and raw production led many to believe there were obscene lyrics hidden beneath the surface. Parents were convinced their teenagers were listening to filth, leading to radio bans and church boycotts. The FBI actually launched a 2-year investigation, hiring lip readers and linguistics experts to decode the pornography. The truth? Lead singer Jack Ely simply had braces, and the recording session was rushed in a small studio. There were no hidden messages, just a young man with dental work singing about a sailor, but the controversy nearly destroyed the band's career. 9. California Dreamin' by the Mamas and the Papas. This 1965 anthem sounds like pure sunshine, but it emerged from a nightmare of personal betrayal. While the song speaks of longing for warmth, the real story involves a love triangle that nearly shattered the group. John Phillips discovered his wife, Michelle, was having an affair with fellow band member Denny Doherty. The betrayal cut deep. John found love letters detailing their plans to leave the band together. For years, they performed these harmonies of love and togetherness on national television while living through emotional warfare behind the scenes. John later admitted he wrote the song while using drugs to numb the pain of his crumbling marriage. 8. Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones. Released in 1966, Paint It Black sounds like rock rebellion, but it actually chronicles Mick Jagger's struggle with severe depression following a devastating personal loss. The dark imagery wasn't just a metaphor. Jagger was processing genuine psychological trauma after the sudden death of a close friend. The recording atmosphere was heavy with grief. Brian Jones's haunting sitar melody wasn't planned. It emerged spontaneously to match Jagger's inner turmoil. The song's massive success became a curse, as Jagger was forced to relive his darkest emotional period night after night on tour for years. 7. The Sound of Silence, Simon and Garfunkel. Art Garfunkel often spoke of this song as a commentary on communication, but Paul Simon revealed a much darker truth. It was inspired by the Kennedy assassination. Simon was horrified by the collective numbness he saw in New York following the tragedy, the literal silence of a city in shock. He felt immense guilt over the song's commercial success, feeling as though he had commodified national trauma, a conflict that permanently strained his relationship with Garfunkel. 6. House of the Rising Sun, The Animals. The Animals' 1964 version of this folk song became a legend, but the band was horrified to learn the history of the real house. Research linked the actual establishment in New Orleans to unexplained deaths and disappearances of young women in the early 1900s. Lead singer Eric Burdon became so obsessed with the dark history of the building, which was eventually destroyed in a suspicious fire, that he initially refused to perform the song live. 5. Good Vibrations, The Beach Boys. Brian Wilson's Pocket Symphony is a production masterpiece, but it nearly cost him his sanity. Wilson became dangerously paranoid during the 6-month recording process, convinced spies were in the walls trying to steal his ideas. He installed elaborate security and spent thousands on studio time while hiding in bathroom stalls during panic attacks. By the time the song hit number 1, Wilson was retreating into a decades-long struggle with mental illness triggered by the pressure to be perfect. 4. Like a Rolling Stone, Bob Dylan. This wasn't a social anthem. It was a vicious personal attack. Dylan wrote the lyrics in a creative rage directed at a former lover who had publicly humiliated him at a party. Session musicians recalled Dylan's voice being filled with genuine venom during the takes. Most disturbing of all, the person who inspired the song reportedly suffered a nervous breakdown after its release, unable to handle being the target of such a cruel musical portrait. 3. Help! The Beatles. John Lennon's desperate cry for assistance wasn't just a hook, it was a literal plea. At the height of Beatlemania, Lennon was battling severe depression and substance abuse. He later admitted he was drowning in fame. The upbeat tempo and cheerful harmonies were a mask for a psychological crisis. Lennon felt his pain was being used as entertainment, a feeling that eventually contributed to his decision to leave the band. 2. Sunshine Superman, Donovan. This whimsical psychedelic classic was written while Donovan was being financially exploited by his management. The Superman character was an idealized version of himself, someone strong enough to escape the contracts that left him with no control over his life. While the song sounded optimistic, Donovan was essentially trapped in indentured servitude, receiving minimal pay while his managers used the song's success to tighten their grip on him. 1. The End, The Doors. The Doors' 11-minute epic wasn't just a poem about mortality, it was Jim Morrison's suicide note. He wrote the lyrics while actively planning to end his life. The song's famous Oedipal section wasn't for shock value. It was a psychological breakdown as he processed childhood trauma. While the song's success temporarily gave him a reason to live, his self-destructive path eventually led to his tragic death in Paris just 4 years later. If this deep dive moved you, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Hollywood Unmasked. Your support helps us keep bringing these untold stories to light. Click the video on your screen right now to see another side of Hollywood you've never seen before.